Okay, so this is very first time of my life. So I just want to say hello to everybody. And on LinkedIn, this is the very first time I'm doing live. And thank you for the support. Thank you for your, I think the word is really support. Okay, so thank you. I can see on my phone already. I can see myself on live. So awesome. So it is 10 p.m. Singapore time. So it is also 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time, and also 9 a.m. US. I don't know because this is what I usually do in the case of my previous Facebook Live, which is around this time. Okay, so I look forward to mingling with you on the live. And today, the topic that I'm going to share with you is education. Now, this is something that I'm very passionate about, education, because education in 21st century is very important, especially we are facing a lot of what we call the crisis, chaos, and most importantly, I would say that it is also important to understand how we can pursue education. So before I start, I want to acknowledge some of you. C is from India, who is my recent latest connection on LinkedIn. C, by the way, I remember he is actually a sales trainer training 3,500 folks in India. C, is that correct? I remember our chat. So James is actually one of my copywriters back in Singapore, and he has been a great support to my team, to me. So thank you for coming. Okay, so I wanted to actually talk about the education as the very first topic, because how many of you realize that without education, you may have a problem? The world keeps changing. The world is telling you that you have to have this skill set, that skill set. It is very important. So I would like to talk about the continuous education. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down tonight's live. Now, unlike Facebook Live, which I usually will run around 1 hour to my record 2 hours and 11 minutes. For LinkedIn Live, I'm not going to that crazy moment because I actually don't know whether LinkedIn allows me to do so long. So I'm asked to do like 15 minutes for the first time and then maximum 30 minutes. So I'll see how it goes. So if you are dropping by, let me know where you're hanging out from. The best is to let me know where you're hanging out from so that I can start gauging what sorts of audience will I get. If you're watching recording, not live, if you're watching recording, it is also good to just hang out and let me know where you're hanging out from when you're watching a recording so that I know I've got you to support my LinkedIn Live. If I said somehow Facebook Live by accident, please excuse me, because I do run Facebook Live for many months, especially during COVID. So I'm very experienced on the Facebook Live. LinkedIn Live, I'm adjusting. So as you can see, that I'm actually using PowerPoint slides to go through what I'm supposed to cover tonight. Okay, so what is continuous education all about? How is it different from traditional education? And then we move on to 3 reasons why it is important to pursue continuous education even after you have graduated from high school, from college, or maybe universities. I know LinkedIn is a B2B platform. Many people told me LinkedIn is very different from Facebook because LinkedIn is business to business. A lot of people on LinkedIn, they have higher education. Some of them are PhD, some of them are master degrees. So I totally respect this new place. And as a result, I'm not saying that if you have studied in universities or master degrees, graduates, or if you are PhD, total respect of you guys, not a problem. All I'm saying is that there's a time and place for continuous education. Last but not least, 2 types of continuous education that might be relevant to you. I'll just end this. So part of the reasons why I'm running this LinkedIn Live tonight is just to test drive and experience it. So at times when I have hiccups, okay, when I see there are tech problems, I will seek your understanding and kindness, okay, because this is very important for me to learn this platform. Like I said, I'm very experienced in running Facebook Live. LinkedIn Live is the very first time. And to start with the story about education on LinkedIn, I personally have been on LinkedIn platform for a very long time. However, I didn't really bother to grow it. I spent a lot of my times on Facebook until recently I realized that a lot of my audiences are on LinkedIn. So I shifted my focus back to LinkedIn in the last few months. Some of you may notice that Jack Wong is pretty active on LinkedIn, and there's a part of the reasons why I have been like that. But before this, what happened was that a lot of times, okay, thank you, James, thank you. I can see the comments on my StreamYard. I just cannot type the comments on StreamYard. So after the live, I will acknowledge each and every one of you. So thank you, James. Keep the comments coming in. So I actually started using LinkedIn, and a lot of my businesses, after I quit Baker McKenzie back in 2011, a lot of my businesses actually came from LinkedIn because I have been practicing tax this is my 26 years of practice. And a lot of times when I am on LinkedIn, people came to me, especially people from Singapore came to me. That's how I got my clients, my consulting clients on taxation. But that is that part, that's the side of business I have. On this side, which is the digital marketing agency, which of course the audiences are very different. And I would say that it is a total new experience to me using LinkedIn to talk to this group of people. So I look forward to mingling with a lot of you, and just that I'm private messaging some of you, or you have conversation with me privately. At the same time, I look forward to have a very interactive and engaging conversation with all of you. All right, so this is my agenda for tonight. All right, so first of all, if you have been following my work, you notice that education comes from a few layers. Okay, the first of all, you notice that education gives you the knowledge, gives you the information. Just like in school, I was stuck in the classroom to continuously receive information from the teacher. Okay, the teacher's job is to teach, and most importantly, the teacher is supposed to finish the syllabus. Heck care whether the students, the pupils, actually knew or understood the subject matter. No, I'm not saying that. Some teachers, they just get the job done. Some teachers are very nurturing. They make sure that the students learn, the students understand, and most importantly, those students do well in school. Now, if you're just thinking about education as knowledge seeking and information seeking, it's nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's nothing wrong with that. My proposition is here. I'm not challenging anyone who believes that education is knowledge seeking or information gathering, because this is the first and primary functions of education. You don't know what you don't know. So what you do, you pursue education to learn a subject, a topic, and get the knowledge. All right, so the question is this. I'm not saying that any judgment here. I'm saying that whether the education or the knowledge you seek to get is relevant and or useful to you. That is what I believe in the 21st century. Whenever you want to pursue any such education, is it relevant to you? Is it relevant because of your situation? Is that relevant because of the job or the nature of your job? That to me is very, very important, so that you have the incentive, you have the opportunity to go to apply the knowledge. Now, I'm very big fans of this word application. If you like, I don't even want to just use the word application. I want to actually use this word, that is implementation. Implementing ideas is a lot more important than knowing the ideas, because knowing is here. Okay, implementing is here. Okay, in this LinkedIn Live, you may be interested to know that I may occasionally, if not regularly, quote my teacher's name, credit to them, and because I am a student of my teachers. Okay, so I may cite references or quote the sources of where I learned from. So application, implementation, that gives you the experience. Now on LinkedIn, I don't know whether you have heard of this. On Facebook, a lot of people actually who have been following me would know this. Experience is the best teacher. Is that true? Okay, experience is the best teacher. Okay, if you say yes, congratulations, you are wrong. Experience is not the best teacher. What my teacher, Alex Mandosian, who is the Warren Buffett of internet marketing, who is my teacher, my colleague, my working partner, actually said that experience is the only teacher, not the best. Experience is the only teacher. Only when you have experienced something, you truly know what is going on. Okay? Now, the next thing that is happening is that experience can benefit you. Is that true? Right? Of course, this is not a problem. That being said, experience can also benefit other people. This is the reason why I just happened to chance upon a Facebook post today. Now, Facebook has a lot of all these very funny things, controversial, too generalized statement. And at times I only say that whenever you're reading someone's post, when someone posts a question, you need to take a grain of salt. You need to understand that it might be asked because of a particular context. So it is very important for you to truly understand that. All I'm saying is that the post says, practitioners do, teachers teach, because they can't do. And I ask myself, is that really the case? Now it goes back to the traditional education, which I'm coming later in the second part. All I'm saying is that I, as a practitioner, I learn, I apply, and I teach. Teachers are also very important in this education because we are the agent. So if you decide to share what you know with other people, this is very, very good by benefiting other people, what you have learned. Only understand something. You may even want to validate what you have learned or what you have experienced, whether the context is the same or the context is different, your experience will still give the same solution or same outcome. This is, to me, very important. So if you ask, like, is it true that teachers teach because they cannot do? Like the university's professors, okay, professors, they teach because they are not practitioners. I really, really have to give a thumbs down to this type of belief, because you need to understand that a lot of the universities, like my university, as a professor in my university, I'm a practitioner, although I teach international texts. You can't learn international tests without going to the practice. Okay, so I teach with the experience that I share with my students. So when it comes to that, I'm very passionate about the fact that not all university professors are teachers, are theorists, and not practitioners. That's absolutely not true. All right. So then the essence of education with the information gathering, with the knowledge seeking, be able to apply and gain the experience, and most importantly, not only experience by yourself, let other people have the experience. Guess what will happen? Transformation of other people's life. So the saying is, education is a process of transforming other people's life. That is how I come to this point. You see that the process requires you to learn, requires to apply, requires you to experience, and most importantly, requires you to share with other people. For whatever reason you decide to share, that's how you transform other people's life. Now I can go to Dr. Buckminster Fuller's standard of living, the world of abundance, that discussion, but I don't have the time, so I'm going to leave it for another day. So all I'm saying is that this is my philosophy about education. I'm not just apply what I learn to myself. I apply to myself what I learn, and at the same time, I also transfer my experience to other people's, because other people's may have the problems that I used to have. So what if I was able to overcome a particular problem? What if I was able to solve a particular challenge, overcome a challenge, or solve a problem? What if I had been able to do that? If someone has the same problem or same challenge, would that be useful? Would my experience be useful? Okay. So in the world of sales, the connotation is that if you do not know how to sell, it is only because you don't know how to transfer your experience to other people. If you are able to sell, you are actually helping other people to solve their problem. So partly this is relating to sales, if you will notice. And thank you, James, for doing the documentation for me tonight. I appreciate that. All right, so let me move on to the next slide. I have only 5 slides tonight, and I'm done after this. Okay, so what is continuous education? Now, continuous education is also known as lifelong learning. Okay, in Singapore, which is where I'm from, lifelong learning is a very, very big thing. Okay, it's a very big thing because the government actually provides funding, subsidies to ask the fellow Singaporeans upgrade the skill. The problem of that is a missing part of the continuous education, which most people may not be familiar with or do not want to talk about. Now, this is something that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. You notice on my LinkedIn post, I tend to quote Kiyosaki very often because Kiyosaki stuff actually, to me, has helped me a lot in my business. So I'm going to quote Kiyosaki pretty often. Okay, so what Kiyosaki actually said is that in all sorts of continuous education, you need to deal with these two elements. The first element is actually what we call the mindset, aka personal development. What's personal development then? Personal development this will be your something called literal voice. Literal voice. How do you manage your literal voice? What is your literal voice? The literal voice, the voice that is now talking to you. Because when you ask what is literal voice, that voice is actually your literal voice. Sometimes the literal voice is too loud that prevents you from doing something. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, comment on the chat. All right. So I'm actually bringing some of my Facebook Live engagement style to the LinkedIn Live. Hopefully, for some who are not used to this kind of Facebook Live in LinkedIn, you can get used to this because that is how I believe engagement happens. All right. So literal voice. Literal voice, one thing you want to know is that your literal voice does not tell you whether you should do it or you shouldn't do it. The literal voice is there just to stop you. The literal voice is just there to give you a break. Okay, hey, come on. It is not fine to continue. It is too bad. It is too risky to move forward. Maybe if you do this, you would die. Hi, Melissa. Hi. Melissa is also one of my mentees and supporting me tonight. Thank you for coming into my very first LinkedIn Live. All right, so literal voice, mindset, personal development. This is very important because how many of you believe that 80% of your success is mindset? Okay, hang on for a minute. If you say that you believe, I need you to qualify yourself. Why? Because there's no such thing called 80%, 20%. To me, you need to have both personal development and business or technical development, which is the skill. Now, Singapore government actually spend a lot of time talking about the skill. And that is not a problem because skills very, very plays a big part. So I believe skill set is important. All right. The problem is the challenge I see is that in COVID-19, in the COVID-19 situation, what you see is that a lot of the business owners, especially Singapore, Malaysia, who have been in business, who have been on business for many, many years, suddenly the business fell apart. Why? It's not because they don't know how to pivot their business online. If you put them a computer, give them a computer, help them set up a website, they can, not an issue. The challenge that I see is that people are afraid of what if I succeed going online? What if I make a lot of money going online? The fear of success of going online actually scares them off. You notice some people will say that it's the fear of failure. In fact, what I learned from Alex Mendosian, fear of success is a lot worse than fear of failure. It's the fear of success that stops quite a number of business owners pivoting their business online. Is that true? I don't know. You go and figure this out. All right. So continuous education came from two forms. It is really the mindset and the skill set. When you have the mindset, when you have the skill set, that would help you become a better version of yourself. You're welcome, Melissa, and thank you for dropping by. All right. So notice that in all sorts of continuous education, you have to continue working on your literal voice. Can't stop that. And if you have issue of who you should go for in learning literal voice, I would highly recommend Jane Johnson, who is actually my connection. Jane is actually one of the coaches to help Kiyosaki and Blessinger for many years. So Jane Johnson is one of the coaches I would highly recommend when you look at how to help you mitigate the literal voice. Okay, I'm not talking about, I know that in LinkedIn we are not supposed to sell. I just make a reference to who I will seek advice from when I have a particular issue. Okay, that's all. Okay, let's move on. LinkedIn has a very interesting policy. I'm not here selling, I'm not here making offer. I'm just going through education. Something that Facebook doesn't, something that LinkedIn doesn't have. But on Facebook, you see people do Facebook Live to sell. All right, so coming back. The next thing about the continuous education is how is it different from the traditional education? Now, imagine you have graduated. Okay, imagine you have graduated from university, from high school, from college. You learn that, okay, now I have my degree or I have my certificate. I will make a lot of money. I'll be very successful in my career. Is that true? Well, way back in the industrial age, before year 2000 might be, or before the advent of internet in 1995, that might be true. I came from the baby boomer or Gen X period. So to me, having university's degrees is a must. It's a prerequisite. Nowadays, the fact is that when you have a certificate, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't guarantee any success in your life, in your business, in your career. Simply put, because the world has changed. We are in this age, what I'll call is the collaboration age, where people simply get together, work together with the common goal, with the same mission and value to create something big. You look at how Airbnb, you look at how Elon Musk company, you look at Apple, just to give you a few examples. It's all about being first in that particular idea, know how to implement fast. It's always about strategic thinking. Okay, so this is another topic for another day. Just I would say that having the traditional education is good to some extent. Now, in my first LinkedIn Live, I'm not here to put people down, and that's never what Jack would say. I'm not here saying that, hey, you know what, having the education in university sucks. Okay, so there are two things I would like to add on just to support what I said. Number one is this. Number one is that the problem-solving skill, okay, that I personally have learned in law school, in my 5 years law school, actually helped me a lot in my negotiation, closing, and sales. Because that law school training helped me a lot. But you may say, Jack, you're lucky, you go to law school. Hey, you know what? I earned my right to go to law school. Okay, it's not luck. I have to earn my right to go to law school with my academic background, with my scores, with my admission test, with my interview. Okay, so there's no luck. I earn it. All right. Having said that, on the other hand, the questions that I may have is that in universities, they may teach you certain subjects. Is that relevant to you? Like people ask very often in universities, let's suppose you learn literature. Let's suppose you learn history. Let's suppose you learn geography, okay? So how are you going to use this skill in today's world? Now, I'm not saying that it is totally useless. They actually serve the values in certain cases. The question that I ask is that when you decide to learn something, is that useful? Is that relevant to you? Always remember this phrase, is that useful? Is that relevant to you? That to me is the key. Now, coming back to traditional education, it doesn't mean traditional education sucks. And you should forget about learning in universities, or for that matter, in the traditional system. Because I have said many times on other platform, there are people such as lawyers, accountants, tax professionals, architects, engineers. They have to pursue the path of academic and professional, what we call accreditation. And this is going through the mainstream traditional education system. I have so many friends, okay, who are entrepreneurs because they keep saying their school dropped out. They run their business. They say, this year I make $1 million in my business. But how come I don't make a dime? Because your company has no profit. Did you know that your sales minus your cost of goods sold minus your expense is your net profit? Do you even know this? And they said, I have no idea. I hate school. I don't like all this. That's the reason why you don't make a dime, because this simple accounting equation you don't even know. That's the problem. So I like to quote Kiyosaki again. Kiyosaki actually said that, well, it depends on who you are, what you want in life, what do you want to pursue. So let's say if you pursue professional accreditation, you go to the mainstream. That is the path. If you decide to go to entrepreneurship, then you do not need university. You'd rather go to have this what we call the practical experience. But that being said, every single entrepreneur still need an accountant, a tax advisor, or a tax agent, and a lawyer. Is that true? You go and figure this out. You know this on LinkedIn. I'm not going to impose my views on you. All I'm saying is that you decide and you figure this out, whether it makes sense to you. Okay? Let's live in a very harmonious place, not to fight or to just raise our voice and put our opinion, superimpose our values on other people, because everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. All right, so I've got 2 more slides to go and I'm done for tonight's LinkedIn Live. So why continuous education? So now you know that continuous education comes with what we call the personal development on one hand, and then you have got the business development and the technical development on the other hand. Why will you pursue CE? Why is lifelong learning important? Number one, it is to fix a problem that you are having right now. Because remember I said you don't know what you don't know. So go and learn something to solve a problem that is bothering you, that perturbs you right now. Okay? So what types of education, what type of courses or topics should you pursue? Typically, you've got to ask yourself this question: what are the problems you have right now? So let's say you have a challenge in sales, which a lot of people are afraid of sales. Then you go fix the problem by getting the sales experience from someone or sales knowledge. And the next slides, I'm going to talk about how to get that. But right now, the first thing is that you need to know where you are. You need to know the problems you're facing. If you don't even know your current position, which I typically in coaching call point A, tough. I don't know what courses or what education you can pursue. You need to know where you are, and sometimes you may live in the denial mode. I don't know. You may be in a place where you do not want to be, but somehow you deny. Okay, if that's the case, then understand. Face the fear. Embrace the fear. Deal with it so that you establish your point A. Next, then we decide what type of education would serve us. Okay, if I want to avoid this, then I need to equip myself with that knowledge or with that skill. This is called prevention. Okay, so let's say I know the stock market crashed in 2008. I'll just give you a practical example. I know the stock market crashed in 2008, and so many people thought that because of COVID-19, the stock market will crash. Yes, stock market indeed crashed on 21st of February this year. But how long was that crash? You can go back to the stock chart and Dow Jones, and you can take a look. Now we are talking about all-time high. But anyway, the case is that what if in future there's another stock market crash? Are you able to handle that? Would you want to prevent from losing money by using a buy and hold strategy? Because buy and hold strategy, by definition, is hoping that the stock will go up in the longer run. However, if the stock decides to tank, good luck, right? So to get the education in terms of education in stock investment is to prevent you from losing your stock portfolio or investment portfolio. That is what we call prevention. So if you have made a mistake, if you have missed the train, or for some reason you may say to yourself that I don't want this to happen on me in future, that is another reason why you should pursue your education. You should go find a course or find a skill set that will help you prevent something from happening in future. Okay, I just use the stock market as a very classic example. I'm so glad that I know how to invest in the market up, down, sideways, simply because I've done that a decade ago. I'm not afraid whether the market is going up, down, or sideways. I don't care because I know how to deal with all market situations. The only one I don't know is when the index goes zero. I have not seen that before, and I don't believe it will happen. All right? So this is the prevention reason for going for continuous education, leading to the last one, improve. Suppose this year you make 4-digit in coaching. Okay, you feel good per month, 4-digit coming in because you are able to close a client. Awesome. You are now looking at closing a 5-figure client, or if you are you have already closed a 5-figure client, you want to learn how to close a 6-figure client. Awesome. This is called improvement. So you go to different places, different courses, or you may go to get the knowledge, the relevant knowledge, to help you improve your closing skill, so that now your coaching business is not only 4 figures a month, but 5 figures a month. And remember, even though we talk about closing, it requires different skills at different point in time. So this is what we call improvement. So I wish I could have more time talking about why CE is to fix, to prevent, and to improve. And fix is actually dealing with the situation right now. Prevention and improvement are dealing with the future situation. All right. So with that, let's come to the last slide. I know already I just hit the 30-minute mark. Okay, so I'm done with the last slide. 2 types of continuous education you can pursue. Where do you find these courses? Now, in the market, I love this particular one. We say that there are 2 ways. Self-help, which is called the DIY. Go and watch YouTube, because YouTube has so much information now. You can actually learn how to run an Amazon business, FBA business, okay, by watching what we call the YouTube. Okay, if you want to learn how to close sales, there are so many videos out there that is put up by people who teach you how to close. So therefore, self-help means you are helping yourself to get the knowledge, and you will have to make a decision to apply and gain the experience. What I see, however, is this. The self-help route has 2 issues. Okay, I'll just give you 2 issues up front. Number 1 is what we call accountability. You'll learn something, but nobody is watching you. So if that's the case, my question to you is that, would you be willing to apply? I don't know. You go and decide. All right, that's number 1. Number 2, this is another problem, which is what we call the variety. Why do I call it variety? Because there are many people coming in to tell you what works for them, and you may easily watch thousands of videos just to learn one thing. So using the self-help mode, you don't know whether this information works or not. Okay, it is free, but I don't know whether this is good or not. Okay, there's a LinkedIn user here. Great live info. God bless. Thank you. I don't know who you are. I can't identify you. So I thank you for commenting on my LinkedIn post. I appreciate that. Okay, in any case, if you can just leave me with your name, I will acknowledge you after the LinkedIn Live. Would that be okay? LinkedIn user at 10:32 my time, so which is right now. All right, let's come back. So the variety of information can give you what I call the confusion. When you are confused, would you want to even implement? I don't know. Now you see that on the internet space, there are people who say that stop buying courses from other people because these courses are run by entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur is a very big name nowadays because a lot of my teachers are being exposed. If you watch YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. On the other hand, these courses shouldn't be like $3,000, $2,000, $1,997 simply because they're overinflated. Yes, I understand. But my question is this. If you are confused, you're spending time. Would time be recoverable? I will say it one more time. You spend time to do it by yourself. Awesome. But would time be recoverable? You can spend a sweet time to learn something in 10 years. But what if you can find somebody who can give you the step-by-step process, shorten your learning curve, to shorten your time frame so that you get the result faster, easier, and more effective? Would that be cool? Would that be what you want? Now, if you are young, if you are now currently 25 years old, 30 years old, congratulations, you are young. Okay? Just take note of one thing. Just one thing and one thing only. That is, what if you spend 10 years of time to learn a skill, and ultimately at the end of the 10-year mark, you have concluded this skill is not relevant anymore, and you have wasted your 10 years. I can't wait because I don't have many decades to waste. I'm 51 years old, in case you don't know. I'm 51. Probably I'll just have 3 more decades to go. That's it. All right. Hi, Bianca. Hi. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate that. So my point is, I do not want to waste time. I want to know whether something is relevant to me, works. That's it. So I tend to adopt this path. What I say I tend to, it doesn't mean that I will just anyhow. Okay, I tend to learn from other practitioners. Now, from learning from other practitioners, obviously you want to check the credibility. Okay, credibility means that is that person legitimate? Is what the person teaching you, going to teach you, is really works? I don't know. So credibility is something you need to think about. So my recommendation is that go and do the due diligence. Really, this is you. You have to do your due diligence. I'm not saying that doing due diligence will give you the safety. At least it gives you some safety margin. All right, so there's one. Number two, the reason why I advocate this is because I want to shorten my learning curve. What do you mean by shorten the learning curve? It means that the person, the practitioner who's going to teach me has already eliminated what's not working and what's work, and will only teach me what's works. So this is what I call shorten the learning curve. Okay? And last but not least, this is another very key thing. That it depends on who is the practitioner, who is your practitioner's teacher here. This is the power of having a tribe or a community, where after the course, you guys are hanging out together, continuously learning from each other. Perhaps today, Melissa has a particular issue and she is in my tribe. Melissa can ask the question to the tribe members and someone give her the answer. I benefit from that conversation because that might be my problem as well. And next day, James has this issue. James has the issue and he asked the tribe members, he got his answer. And by the way, when he gets the answer, the whole tribe gets the answer as well. So having a tribe is very important. So a lot of practitioners, when they do their offer, they talk about the tribe. Of course, you want to make sure the tribe is active, the tribe is engaging, the tribe is actually like community. It is like a family who share the same values, have learned from the same teacher, and are applying the same sources of experience or information. All right, so you see that this topic is a lot, and I'm already into 37 minutes. And by the way, this is my very first LinkedIn Live. You'll find that I can speak for 37 minutes once again. On Facebook, my record is 2 hours and 11 minutes. So I running 37 minutes Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live is actually more tough. It's actually tougher than running a 2 hours Facebook Live. I have to condense quite a lot of information in order to run this. And since this is the first time, I'm trialing and see whether I can adjust this when I do my second live next time. All right. So with that, I hope you enjoy tonight's information. Okay, I'm obviously I will elaborate this information a lot. And then James, I think about the continuous formation a lot because we are ignorant, and then it's necessary to study about holistic discipline. Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, so Bianca, what James has done is no worries, it's not a mistake, don't worry. What James has done is actually regurgitate or helping me as my secretary to document some of the key points to light. So if Bianca just joined me, you may want to go back to the live from the beginning to understand the context. Okay, so to sum up the Facebook, I keep saying Facebook Live. Okay, I mean LinkedIn Live. I will get used to that. Okay, so sum up my LinkedIn Live tonight, my very first one. Hope you enjoy this. Let me know what is working for you and what are the improvements that I should make so that I can become a better live streamers on LinkedIn. All right, so education in 21st century. So we discussed what's the continuous education all about and how is it different from traditional education. I talk about this. Basically, education is a transformational process. It is different from the traditional education because of a few reasons, which is my part 2. I talk about 3 reasons why it is important to pursue CE, which is the fixed, okay, which is to prevent and also to improve. Fix, prevent, improve. These are the 3 reasons why you should continuously pursue your education, or you should pursue your continuous education. And 2 types of continuous education. One is the self-help, DIY type, and the other one is to learn from practitioners. Of course, there's cost involved in both cases. Why? Because the cost of the first type, the self-help, is time. Okay, and I hate time because time cannot be replaced, cannot be recovered. So if you spend money with practitioners to learn from them, from their experience, make sure that they are legit, make sure you have done your due diligence, and make sure they are the one truly that can help you solve your problem. All right, so with that, I'm very happy to see that my first LinkedIn Live, I've got 6 people, 5 people watching live, which is okay. Consider this is the first time. I'm happy with what I've done. All right, so let me know what are things that you have learned tonight. Okay, there's one, this is my ritual. What is the one biggest takeaway you have gained from tonight's LinkedIn Live? Okay, most importantly, if you have any questions about the points that I made, it's not clear because partly of my accent. Okay, my accent is not the typical American because I'm from Hong Kong. Okay, my accent is very strong, Hong Kong based. So if you don't understand something, let me know and please ask. And you find that I raise my voice sometimes because on live you need to continuously, or I know that energy is very important when I run live, or else a lot of you will check out. Okay, at the beginning of the live. All right, so with that, that's all I have for LinkedIn Live. I will likely run LinkedIn Live once a week, which will be 10 p.m. Singapore Malaysian time, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time, and what else is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are from the United States, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so with that, thank you for watching this LinkedIn Live. Jack Wong here signing off, and all good wishes. Good night, good afternoon, and good morning.